With some curiosity, I watched students and administrators and some left-wing politicians take part in a national walkout to advocate for gun control today.
What Parkland showed us is that this could happen in any one of our schools. And we as students can't take this anymore.
1 month after the high school shooting in Parkland, Florida, kids at more than 2,000 schools across the nation staged these walkouts. But don't be fooled into thinking this was some sort of organic outpouring of youthful rage. This was a totally choreographed event organized by a group called Empower. It's the youth wing of the Women's March. Well, thank God they didn't force the kids to wear those idiotic pink knit caps. That would have been bad. But you got to hand it to them, really. Come on, leftists do know how to organize in protests. Students took part by the thousands. Who needs Homer in history when you can get credit for screaming? Well, naturally, they were enabled by a familiar cast of characters.
People are sick and tired of gun violence, and the time is now for all of us together to stand up to the NRA.
We're all moved by your eloquence and your fearless insistence on action to prevent gun violence. Thank you for bringing your urgency to this fight to the doorstep of America.
Okay. Look, you've heard of, like, your take your child to work day. Well, for the anti-Trump, anti-Second Amendment crowd, this was make your student protest day. Like, there's nothing worse than people who use their kids to advance a political agenda. Like, many school districts, teachers, administrators, and local politicians supported this walkout. The demonstrations were supposed to last 17 minutes to honor each of the Parkland victims. But some of these things went on for hours, and sometimes they took on an even festival kind of party atmosphere. In New York, students marched on the, of course, Trump International Hotel and at the Brooklyn Borough Hall. In D.C., you saw that clip. They gathered at the U.S. Capitol and at the White House.
We will accept nothing less than comprehensive gun control. Yeah. And if it's what it takes, we will shame our national policymakers into protecting us. When the commander-in-chief's solution to this country's gun problem is more guns, you know we have a moral problem in this White House. This is in our hands now, and if any elected official gets in our way, we will vote them out and replace them ourselves.
That's nonpartisan completely. The mention of Trump, just ignore that. Oh, my goodness. So much for honoring the victims. This was nothing but a left-wing anti-Trump diatribe. You peel it all back. And it could have been written by anyone at MoveOn.org. While a significant number of liberal educrats supported the walkout politicking, a few administrators and teachers actually had, I think, a better idea, like the ones who called into my radio show this morning.
As a conservative social studies teacher, I had mixed emotions about the walkouts today, but I did make time at the end of the period for those students that walked out to kind of air their opinions, and we had a really good dialogue. I was really surprised to find out that they understand that it's more than just gun control. It's more the mental health, parents needing to be present in their kids' lives and to address the issues of bullying.
Our struggling public schools did have their walkouts, but our parochial school teachers worked with the students and put together a program of a walk-in. And they went into the churches and auditoriums and recognized the victims with prayer.
I really like that. Think about that. Commemorating the loss, remembering the victims, prayer offered as a class. To me, that makes a lot more sense than yelling into a microphone in front of some government building. We're talking about students here. And for anyone who takes the time to look at our academic standing in the world, students need more academics, more classroom time, not more hysterics. According to the latest Pew survey, American 15-year-olds rank 38th out of 71 countries in math and 24th in science. Places like Singapore, Poland, Portugal, and Macau beat us by huge margins. And we're worrying about protests and walkouts? We need sit-ins, as in sit in class and learn. Let's be clear here. Democrats are using these kids to whip up enthusiasm for the midterms, 2020 and beyond, and, of course, for voter registration. It's theater with real-world consequences. Because I'm telling you, when these placards are trashed and the TV producers stop calling, Johnny still won't be able to read as well as some of those other countries, maybe not write as well, or distinguish between a polynomial and a pollywog. Political activism is terrific. I love it. But it should not be conducted during the school day. So if you kids want to protest, have at it. And it'd probably be better after you graduate from high school. But for now, your education and your studies are far more important than any march, even if the politicians and the activists try to convince you otherwise. And that's the angle.